Hey guys, Toku Nerd here again.
And this is El Montes here.
And we're here for another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Corner where we talk about, just anything in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general.
Yes. So, what we're going to start. Oh, yeah, TCG exclusives. You're going to tell me about that.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to talk about this because the new TCG exclusive archetype was just announced. It's like some weird RC car thing. I haven't read fully on it, but it looks okay. I mean, considering that back in the 90s we had like this whole kind of subculture for, like RC cars, like the Tyco RC stuff. So I was like, I get that. That's kind of cool, but I haven't seen all of them, so I can't make a critical judgment about them yet until I see at least maybe 4 or 5 of their cards. Or at least 3 of them, because then you can set up a deck at least with 3 of each. But then the problem is that most TCG exclusive archetypes aren't really that great. Like I was telling you about was it the UA Battlers? Yeah, they're like a sports themed heroes, but they're based on like a baseball player, a football player, a soccer player, and they have like this really weird mechanic where they like tag each other out for attack and defense. But the problem is, from what I heard, is that they just don't function that well because of how fast decks are now. It's not really viable to play them because you can't get out more than like maybe 1 or 2 of them at a time, and then no matter what, they're gonna switch out. So,
But how do you switch them out?
oh, it's just an effect that they have. It's like at the end of the battle phase or on your main phase 2, switch this out for another monster, which is a cool mechanic. It's kind of like what they had before. There was a really broken archetype back in like I think the early 2000s, or actually it was right around like 2008, 2009 or whatever. It was a Gladiator Beast. Their whole mechanic was about tagging out, but the deck was so broken that it actually took a lot of nationals and world championships because it was so powerful. Like, everybody wrote it off as like, whatever, it's this dumb mechanic. But then people found a way to make it really broken and just win every time, because you could just completely wipe your opponent's field and just hit directly for like 3,000. And then you tag it out again and then keep hitting. And they're still viable today too, which is fucked up. That's what's weird.
But what cards did they use to add it in to make it work?
It was mainly fusion monsters and some key cards like Test Tiger and I don't remember all of the Gladiator Beasts, but it was like that one, I think it was like a horse one or whatever, but because of those newer cards, they made the deck even more broken because you can just continuously switch out for a fusion monster. You don't even have to technically fusion, you just tag out with him from the extra deck, and you're like, well, and then the one that's really broken, it's like Arrow something or whatever, when he leaves the field, he summons 2 other Gladiator Beasts. So it's like you could just go directly into an like an XYZ play and just defend yourself and then tag out the next turn and just keep doing that and just destroy your opponent. But the thing is that that's not really even a TCG exclusive. Like with most of the TCG exclusives, like there's UA Battlers, and then there's like the new cards that just came out, Spirals. Like Secret Agents and stuff. I actually played against one a week ago, and it was, wow, it's actually one of the few that's come out this year and last year that is actually, like, I can see it at least competing with people, on a national level because of, like, the newer cards that just came out with Maximum Crisis, that it could potentially, like, it has good defense. It can play a stall game if it needs to, but it can go for a one-hit turn if it were to try hard enough. Because, especially now, there's a new Link monster announced for it, which is, for a TCG exclusive, that's pretty amazing, because usually they never bother with that. But the fact that this card is broken too, it's it's a Spiral, a double helix. It's basically a picture of Spiral Super Agent and Spiral Sleeper, but then when they were younger, like when Sleeper was teaching him. So, but the cool thing is that the card says that this card is treated as Super Agent, so you can do all of Super Agent's effects while also doing his new effect, which is like, if this card were to, like, basically, like, you can discard a Spiral to summon 2 Spirals to its points.
Nice.
And you just do that, and you just go for an instant, like, XYZ play or whatever, or maybe take up your opponent's extra monster zone that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And what else aside? Well, kaijus also count in the TCG exclusive, which actually I found really weird because kaijus are a very Japanese like thing, and the weird thing is that we made them for the TCG, which is kind of strange. But to be fair, Japan doesn't have to deal with kaijus. Lucky them.
Yeah. You're trying to build a complete
yeah, but it's not physically possible because
there isn't enough of those variations of cards.
There are a lot of variations. It's just the same type of kaiju where you just sacrifice your opponent's stuff and then you can summon it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be better if there was like another subset of kaijus, maybe like since there's kaijus. Like my idea is to create like an entire subset of the kaiju archetype that are like like the Ultraman or something, where you can summon them without having to actually have another kaiju on the field. You can summon them like maybe discarding a kaiju or destroying a kaiju already on your field. Then you can summon him.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that now the kaiju still don't have any support, and they haven't had anything else given to them since their initial sets and stuff. They're powerful, but they're always a deck that has to go second because you have to wait until your opponent does his thing. Then you use Kaiju Slumber, and then you get rid of everything. Then you can summon stuff. But at this point, basically, it's more of a stall deck, like a troll deck at this point. And then there's, of course, the case of the Subterrors, which is a really weird archetype that I actually found by accident. And all of them consist of well, 3 of them don't because they're like the little tiny like fairies, but the other ones, the fiends, they're all flip monsters. The old style, like you put them face down in defense mode, and then when they attack, you flip them, then their effects activate. The thing is, it's okay, kind of, because they're already, all of the monsters that you summon that are like that, they're all super powerful. They're like top tier like monsters, but the thing is that all their effects involve flipping and flipping stuff face down. And with like the recent announcement of the new Link monsters, they also included a Subterror Link monster. But the problem is that it doesn't work in a Subterror deck. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. It works better in a Crawlers deck than a freaking Subterror deck because of its effect. Mm-hmm. Because it not only requires 2 well, actually, no, it doesn't even require 2 Subterrors. It just straight up just requires 2 Fiend type monsters. Mm-hmm. And you can do that already with Crawlers, and that actually might work better for them. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, that's the whole issue with them. They just, some of them work, some of them don't, and some of them still need more cards to help them out, and it just, without them, they're not viable yet. Unless you mix them in with other decks. Like, I mixed in Kaijus with True Dracos, but Kaijus you can mix into anything. You just need 4 cards and that's it.
One of the things that I was hoping to do is because I was hoping to find more of the older type decks, and I know that older
some of the older decks might not work, but some of them are viable because of the newer mechanics like XYZ and Synchros. So you could, but you would still have to put in newer cards.
Yeah, because I know the Phantasm uses some old.
Oh yeah. It uses Cabazols, and Cabazols is one of It was the only level 4 water type dinosaur, like for 12 or 14 years before that new Megalo Smasher X came out, and everybody was like, "Yay, we can go for Bahamut Shark and get totally awesome."
Yeah.
God, that card.
Because the one that I wanted to build or just to try out was the Amazoness deck.
But could, but the problem with the Amazoness deck is that they were okay. But the problem is that the newer cards that came out for it don't help at all. They make it harder for you to do things, and you have to waste more resources. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! You do not want to waste resources ever. You want to have a +1 on everything, which is why all the top tier decks are busted, because they can go +1, +2, or +3. Like with my True Dracos, if I do it right, I can draw 4 cards. Like, that's just a win-win already. I mean, 4 more cards that can just mess your opponent up. But with Amazoness, their newer support cards don't do anything. They give you a big monster, but the big monster can't protect itself, and it can be destroyed super easily too. Like, almost every modern card or every modern deck has a way to destroy it in one hit. like Solemn Strike, Dark Hole, Raigeki. Everything can kill it.
Oh yeah, just, like the Dark Hole like is one of the staple cards.
Oh yeah, because it's so good. Same with Raigeki.
So that's why most of the old cards are kind of obsolete because of those simple cheap cards.
That or they're banned.
Yes.
Because a lot of the old ones are busted, so they had to ban them, like Monster Reborn, Stop Defense, Remove Trap, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Because there's no cost.
Is there any really old decks that could still work to this day besides Phantasm?
Dark Magicians, Blue Eyes, my Blackluster deck. Red Eyes can, but it's still not up to snuff unless you manage to summon some good stuff. Harpies might actually be viable. Harpies, I've actually been playing against the AI of that on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and it's pretty good, but if you get rid of their field spell fast enough, they can't really do anything. Or if you do what I do, where I stop their searcher immediately, like the monster that searches out their other cards, I'm just like, but Masterpiece. And that, or I just Solemn Strike it immediately because I don't want it doing anything.
Because you can throw in some terraformers in there that could help that as well.
Well, yeah, terraformings are standard. You gotta.
Stapled card now.
Yes, well, unless they nerf it like in Japan. Japan, they brought it down to, I think, 1 or 2.
Oh, 1, 2.
1 or 2. But the fact that it got limited is not a good thing because without that, most decks can't function because every deck nowadays depends on a field spell card.
The other thing that I was going to talk about before we run out is like, is that they say for TCG cards are like more localized in this area or specified in this area. But one of the things that I'm interested in, especially like in the Magic the Gathering, I originally got into Magic the Gathering not necessarily to play games, but to look at the pictures.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things I want
that's actually that's actually my criteria for when I play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
It's like, oh, that card looks really cool. I should research it and see if I can build a deck around it, and that's how I build most of my decks. Because it's like, like when I saw the ABCs, I was like, oh, that looks cool, and then I saw Blackluster, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. I should build a deck.
So what I was going to ask is, what is your favorite pictures or artworks of your best cards?
Oh, my best cards? Oh man, I would say my absolute favorite. Oh man, I actually have a few. First off, there's probably has to be one of them is the True Draco Phoenix Miriadne or whatever. Her artwork looks really nice, and the fact that it's an ultra rare, so you have the holographic picture and the gold letters combined together. But then her and let's see, the also ABC Dragon Buster. It's a fusion card, but it has the gold letter. Well, it doesn't have the gold lettering, but it has the really cool holographic picture. Like, I always go for that. And then, of course, Blackluster Super Soldier. That card has a secret rare version, and it looks so fucking cool because he like the normal version you get is already like a shiny ultra rare, but secret rare, it looks like a really super badass card. And then what else? There's another card I really like. Oh, Super Quanto Mech Beast Grand King Magnus. That guy looks amazing because he's essentially a giant Super Sentai robot, and his picture's a holographic, and the name of it is in like silver. It looks awesome.
Yeah. And have you noticed like comparisons between like the Japanese artworks as compared to the American?
No. The Japanese ones are always better because they like the quality of the card is much better. That's why, like for the two Decode Talkers I have, I know when they bring it over, they're not gonna like put the same amount of like detail onto the thing.
Or they censor them.
Yeah, some cards end up getting censored because of like sexual things or like religious things. Like
most of the demons don't have horns.
Yeah.
And most of the angels don't have halos.
Yeah, because they censor them. Actually,
they
or like or they just change their name slightly, or they change the name completely. Like with like True Draco, True Draco Majesty Maiden. In Japan, she's called the True Draco Mage, which makes sense because she's the only magic spellcaster user of the entire team. While in America and just the TCG in general, they call her the Draco Caster, which kind of is the same exact thing, but it just doesn't have that like cool ring to it, like the Draco.
mage.
Yeah, because she's the mage. She's not a fucking caster. When you say cast, you say I cast a spell. You don't say I'm a caster. You say I'm a mage. That's in like standard D&D. There's the mage. You don't call the mage the freaking caster. Like what is that?
It's like carpenter. Carpenters are not woodworkers.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
carpenters.
Like what the? Yeah, it's like I work with wood or I cast magic. He's a freaking. She's a mage. Come on. It's such a dumb, weird like change. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess this is it.
Yeah.
Well,
Looks like we're out of time.
yeah, we're out of time, but we have a lot more to talk about.
yeah,
So
we
just stay tuned and so forth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
Especially leave us comments.
Yeah,
more
yeah.
comments on what you think
Yeah,
of what's going on.
because we need more topics.
Yes. We don't have that much, and I'm just pulling things out of nowhere.
Well, no, because I have stuff to talk about every week because new stuff keeps coming out, so I'm fine.
Yes, and I'm trying to come up with things that are like different from that to change the
Yeah.
pace as well. So yeah, so leave us a comment and don't forget to check out more episodes on his channel. And if you want, you can check out my channel that has very little to nothing to do with what we're talking about now. But
Yeah.
good change of pace. Anyway, so this is El Montes,
Toku Gamer here.
and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.